One, two, one, two. Okay, good evening to everyone. Welcome to the Sigel Cup. Okay, first of all, I would like to say that we have 4 world-class pilots in this competition that will be flying with you with basic gliders. The idea is to learn from them, suck the knowledge from them. So, watch them. And okay, first of all, one comes from Czech Republic. It's Thomas Brauner. He is flying for many, many years, and believe me, he has achieved great results, wins, World Cup wins, and top 10 places in championships, podiums, all kinds of success. Then we have Mats Sindergaard from Denmark. He's been flying for ages and also made World Cup podiums, great results, several competitions, so lots and lots of experience from Mats. Then we have Aljaž Valic from Slovenia. I think he doesn't need much of a presentation. Anyway, Aljaž made also great results, world records as well, and he's also world designer for Niviuk, for competition wings, so much knowledge from him. Yeah, okay. And then we have Michael Sigel from Switzerland, very young and talented pilot. He's only 24 years old, but already made really great results, and tonight he will explain us the Swiss way how to become a great pilot. We are all ears, Michael.
Hey everybody, good evening. I'm here to present you how you may become a good pilot, or how a lot of Swiss pilots used to become a good pilot. So let's start. In general, there are many. Sorry. It's just me. Actually, I think there are many ways of to be successful. Perhaps a lot of pilots are happy and are successful when they land. They had fun, they had a nice flight, they had no accidents, and they drink a beer with friends, and that's it. Or for other pilots, there are a lot of pilots in the cross country in X-ray flying, and they want to fly further. They want to fly 200 kilometers, 300 kilometers, and for them it's successful to make a world record, to make really big flights, to make special flights, maybe in the Andes or in the Himalayan, and go high or go very far. Sometimes a pilot thinks, yeah, maybe I want to try something different. I want to become a successful pilot in competitions. And I try to explain you how I become successful, on how other pilots from Switzerland became successful in competitions. As you may know, from Switzerland are quite a lot of good pilots. We had Christian Maurer, we had Andy Abbey, still have Stefan Wies, and all of these, they are really successful. Almost every competition they go, they win or are in a really good position. And because I know them very good, I'm the same team, or I fly a lot with them, I know what they did, and so I have a really good point of view. The problem is, paragliding is a special sport, so you don't have to be very strong, or you don't have to be very rich to get best, like in maybe tennis or whatever. And but there are some good points. Perhaps Luca Donini is not the youngest, so you don't have to be 15 to start with paragliding as I did and then become good. You can start with 30 and become a good pilot with 40 or 50 and still win a competition with 55. Basically, I think what is important to become good in every sport is are those things I tried to mention here. If you want to win in a sport or something like this, there are several points that are really important. I think you have to have the good material. Without the good material, it's nothing. So in paragliding, it's basically the glider. You have to have a good harness, helmet, everything has to be good. And what's then next is the mental thing. You have really to try to focus yourself on the competition, on the moment you're flying. Also the physical, I mentioned you don't have to be strong, but you have to be fit. Like when you have a competition in a strong area where you fly 6 days and then 4 hours every day. Okay. Then you have to be fit, and when you're not fit enough, then you're losing the concentration on the last day. You stuck and bomb out, and then you lost. What is very important is the environment. You have to do you have friends that supports you? What about the family? What do you work for? Are you a test pilot? Are you a tandem pilot? Or do you work in something really different? And all this comes with the time. So is it stable? Is it unstable? And the time is the most important, because everything you can change, but the time not. All right. So I start with that's just in general, and now I would like to start with a short overview from the beginning, when I and when other pilots were young in Switzerland, what we did to become good. And it started with the beginning. We went to a paragliding school. We had to learn everything from basic as everyone else, except in France. They don't have to school. They don't have to go to school, but most of us, we have to go to a paragliding school to learn it. And then you make the exam, you pass it, and then you start going up the hill and everything like this. And soon you may remember that you want to change the glider. You want to go to a better glider with more performance, because the others, they're gliding better. But I propose you not to change the glider too early. The problem is you can get bad experience, and then it can throw you backwards a long time, and you need maybe a year or two, or you almost give up paragliding. So I would propose to have a ENB or ENC glider for a long time, and then just make small steps. What helped me quite a lot was when I was young, and when I started paragliding, I was talking a lot with good pilots. When I was flying and landed earlier than they did, I went to them and asked, what did you do? Where do you go over there? Where do you go to this ridge? And I went to this. Why you chosen the other one? And because of that, you can learn very much. Not only because they know the area better, but also they made other decisions. They are better. What's really what I think is really important is that you fly a lot. It's all about learning by doing, and the more you do, the better you learn it. Something special is maybe just my opinion, but I think it's really important that you do also safety flights or try to do some freestyle, because I think it's important that you have that you know what your glider is doing, you have your glider under control, and when you get a big collapse, you can do a full stall, or you know what happens when you get twisted. You know which brake you have to use, and therefore it's really good when you have some freestyle skills. Yeah, and then somehow you become better. You start to fly cross country, because I think cross country is cool because I'm doing it. And there I guess there you can learn quite a lot. Sometimes you fly alone, sometimes you have other pilots around you, and then you can learn to read the area where you should go, how high you should arrive on a ridge or on a forest to get a good climb again. And that's really important to fly also on your own, not only in competitions. I think the problem sometimes in competitions is that people are just used to follow the others, and they're just doing what other pilots are doing, and suddenly when they are in front, they have no idea what they should do, and then they're just waiting, and then oh no, I don't go, I don't know where to go, and I guess when you're good in cross country, you know, over there it's good, tack, and then just go. Yeah, and after some time you may change to another glider, and that's a good idea when you have enough skills and other pilots say, okay, yeah, it's good for you. Good pilots say, yeah, I would change to another glider, then I would change. But really in small steps. And with another glider, it takes quite a lot of time to get used to this glider. Normally here in Europe, it's not good to change to a new glider in spring, because the conditions are very rough. So when you change from a DHV 1 to 2 to a 2 or a 2 to 3 glider in spring, you can get in trouble. What is really good for then is to get in small competitions, in smaller regional competitions. We have in Switzerland called regional cup. It's small competitions all around Switzerland, and I guess sometimes they have it here too, like this one here. I think that's a really good opinion for an opportunity for you to get used to competitions. And as you may know, sometimes on takeoff there are rough conditions. Even here we have a strong wind on takeoff, or crosswind, or yeah, that's it. And therefore it's good to do ground handling quite a lot. When I was young, I really spent hours at the landing field when I bombed out or whatever, and then I spent hours to try to handle my glider and things like that. In competitions, even in World Cup, you can see a lot of pilots getting in trouble when there are 30 kilometers of wind at takeoff. And it's horrible to see them taking off, changing the brakes, and getting collapses and everything like that. So I guess also for you, it's good when you know your glider by the ground handling, and therefore it's cool. It gives you a lot of confidence when you know in almost every condition you can take off without a problem, and you don't get stressed by the wind or things like that. What helped me to improve my flying skills was to find friends. I met Christian Maurer or Stefan Schmocker. We went into the same team. We did quite a lot of stuff together, not only flying, we went for biking, running, and things like that. And for that you can push yourself, you can push the other one to get better, not only in paragliding but in everything, and that helped quite a lot. And after a flight, after a cross-country flight or in a competition, when you're not so good but you can compare with your friend and talk to him and say, yeah, what did you do there? Okay, yeah, that's good, I made some more heights and therefore arrived over there higher and could get the turn point faster and stuff like that. Yeah, that's it. And then when you are already a good pilot, then it's all about to become the best or become really good. And I guess for being the best pilot or to get top results, you should get a good glider. I guess you cannot win a PWC or a World Championship with a bad glider, or not a bad glider, but a glider that is worse than most of the others. So like in the past 2 years it was easy. You can buy a R11 or a R10 or a Boomerang, but the years before it was harder, and therefore it was the best to become a test pilot at the factory, and then you get the good gliders, and all the PWC winners were test pilots from a company. I guess it's also really important, the mental thing. You should focus yourself really on the competitions. And when you have troubles with the work or with your girlfriend or with your friend, you are not able to concentrate on what's going on in the competition, and then you lose time or bomb out. What is also really important and not mentioned often is the money, and therefore it's really good when you have sponsors. You should try to find one or get supported by parents or whatever, because it saves a lot of time by traveling, and sometimes you can take the airplane and don't have to get there by car. You can buy good material and stuff like that. It really helps. To become good, it's for the last step, I think it's the best to go to the PWC, because the flying skills there are amazing. There are 120 pilots. I think the first 50 now are the top pilots. There's nothing better than this, and the flying skills they have, it's really amazing, and that's cool. There you can, it's a step ahead when you go to a PWC and see the guys flying in the regions. Sometimes I bombed out on a day and I was thinking there, okay, I have a good position, I made my best. Then I went home to the headquarters and saw that 20 pilots reached goal. And yeah, that's quite surprising when you're thinking, oh, no way, there's still pilots doing it. Another thing is the fitness. I mentioned it's not important that you have a really big leg or big arms, but you have to fly a lot. You have to fly 6 days in Piedrahita. We had strong conditions, and when you're not used to fly, you get sucked. And the last thing for this is what Martin Scheel, the Swiss League chief, say us all the time is that success comes in waves. So it's like this: it goes up, it goes down, success, no success, and there are many reasons for that. Sometimes it's the pressure you put on it. Perhaps when I was winning in Colombia, I was really high at success, no problems, and then I win some competitions in Switzerland, and then I put all the pressure on me. I said, oh no, I'm a good pilot, I have to win again, and all the others are looking for me, and then it is descending, and sometimes it's going up again. So for the problem is to find these waves in important competitions like a world championship or a European championship or also for a national. Okay. Now I told you quite a lot about general stuff, how to become a good pilot. And now I try to focus a little bit on the competition itself. So I explain you how I do everything when I go for a competition, what will I do to go there and maybe to succeed. So before the competition, I usually try to plan everything early enough. I pay enough. I watch who is going from Switzerland or from Germany or wherever, and how to get there. What about the insurance paper and stuff like that. And to pack everything, I try to make a checklist. And even when I go to South Africa or South America, I packed in 20 minutes and I don't have something missing, and that's quite cool. So there are everything in it, a checklist for GPS, documents, personal stuff, etc. And what's really important for a competition is to get there early enough. Especially in winter, when we have winter here and you have a competition in Mexico or South Africa, it's important that you get there early enough, because maybe you have a new glider or new harness, because they're changing quite a lot in winter. And when you get there, you have to get used to the region and to the glider and also to the conditions over there. And therefore it's good to get there early enough. We in Switzerland, we try to go to, when we have a competition in winter, in our winter, and go to Australia or wherever, we try to go to a competition before to get used to the material and also to the region. On the day before the competition, that's also quite important because you should try not to drink too much. Yeah, maybe I'm not the best to tell you this, but it's depending on the competition you have. But when you have a competition in Brazil and the conditions are weak, it's not that a problem. But mention that you are in Spain, like Piedrahita, and then you get drunk, go to bed late, and then you have thermals up to 10 meters and strong wind, and then you should fly for 5 hours. So it's I can tell you it's horrible. So I try to drink 1 or 2 beers, have some fun, but then go to bed early. And yeah, that's it. And what is important, to eat enough, to eat and drink enough on the day before the competition and also on the morning. And on the day before the competition, you have enough time. So pack your glider, load your GPS, load your mobile phone, whatever. Because the day before the competition, you have enough time. You have time till whatever, till the competition starts. So there you have to fix everything. For cross country, I do a lot of cross country, and then it's time to make a last check, a last weather check, or even in a competition, you can do a meteo check for yourself. So you can see, maybe the conditions are good, maybe not, and why. Sometimes in bad organized competitions, it's important to know how to get to takeoff. Maybe it's with your private car, with the cable car, or with the shuttle bus. And therefore, it's important that you check when are the schedule times, when you should get up, and when is the latest bus going. On the day of the competition, as I said, eat and drink enough. When you go for cross country, when you want to fly 10 hours, it's good to eat pasta. It's not very nice to eat pasta at 7 or 6 o'clock in the morning, but it leads a long time, and that's very good. At the takeoff, I usually listen to music or talk to other pilots. I try to do something that makes me feel good, and when I have something other in mind, like the university or stuff like that, I try to not to think about that. And sometimes music or a talk with another pilot helps me quite a lot. When you arrive on takeoff, it's good to prepare your stuff, to make everything okay, pack your glider out and stuff like that. But I think it's not a good idea to do ground handling at takeoff, as often seen on competitions. I think it's not useful. Most of the time there are enough staff people there to help you to take off, and it's not important to take your glider to take off and then handle for 15 minutes. You can just blame yourself, I guess. And the same thing is, if you have enough money, you can leave your glider open for 2 or 3 hours on a competition at takeoff, but it's up to you. Then the briefing is, when I was not used to competitions, I took notes. I wrote everything down, and that's really good. When you don't have a really good GPS like the Sea Pilot, that tells you everything, it's good to make some notes. When is the start time, when is the goal deadline, and everything like that, because you may not remember it in the flight. So write everything down. And what is also really important is listen to the meteo man. Sometimes they're not really good, they're not used for paragliding, but often you get really good information about the stability when they say it's where the air is very stable in the lower levels. You have to fly high, and things like that are important. Or sometimes it's there is an inversion quite high, and then there's no reason to fly high all the time, to terminal up to cloud base and then get down and terminal up again. Maybe it's better to get low, to try to find a lower line. Then I don't do it quite a lot because I terminal quite good, but when you're not when I started paragliding or competitions, it's important that you take off enough early enough, because sometimes the conditions are bad, or the first turn point is quite far away, and therefore you have to get to the cloud base. And in Switzerland, or also in World Cup, we often see it that maybe 50% of the pilots don't reach cloud base in time. So therefore it's good when you take off early and then try to reach the cloud base, or a good position to start in your race. Something for the men is that I usually fly with urinal condoms, that I can drink a lot, and you don't get pressure. And my last point for today is about the tactics. And that, I guess that's the most difficult part to explain, because it's depending really much about the region. Is it flat, or are the mountains? How about the air? Are there any inversions? But as I said, it's the most important is for the beginning is that you get in a good position at the race start, and it's not always where all the other pilots are waiting. Sometimes you're waiting alone, and then you have the best position. So try. I always try to think for myself, why are all the all the pilots over there on the left side, and I would go on the right side, and why are they on the left side? And because of things like that, you get to the best positions. Yeah. I would propose as a rookie, as most of you are, not to fly too aggressive. I often see it that young pilots, they want to fly fast, they want to win, and they fly too fast, they don't thermal enough, and then they get stuck. I would propose to follow the best, because the best, they often have the best route, or they come to goal earlier than you are, and because of that you can learn what they are doing. And for every competition it's the same. When you fly too aggressive at the beginning and you bomb out on the first day, the competition is gone. So try to improve day by day. When you come to goal as last one on the first day, the competition is gone too. But when you have to get in a good position. When you bomb out, it's gone. When you're coming too late, it's gone. So that's really important, that you put yourself in a good position. And the last point is for the attacking. When you are a good pilot and you are in a good position, then you should attack. What means try to find the best way to get to the goal first. And normally it's the later you're doing this decision, this attack, the bigger is the chance to get to the goal first. And when you try to attack at after 10 kilometer in a 100 kilometer task, it's quite it's quite most of the pilots will catch you again. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Okay, so yeah, that's what I wanted to say to you. I hope I could help you a little bit, and maybe there are some questions too.
Michael, thank you very much for sharing this with us. Wish you good luck tomorrow. I would like to mention to all of you that all 4 of these pilots will be here with us all week, will drink beers with us, so if you have questions, feel free to ask them. They will help you with tips gladly. So, go on. And for tomorrow, the day is flyable and we will have a task. So 10 o'clock, the buses will leave from here, but I suggest that you come here earlier, prepare your stuff, fill the ballast, take the lunch packets, so that at 10 o'clock we can move to the vans and go on the takeoff and don't lose precious time. Okay? Wish you all a nice evening and a good flying week.